Next motion by Councilor Rita Mercia. City Council requests the city manager to improve communications with the City Council. Seconded by Councilor Kazanjian. On the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you to the city manager, and thank you, Mr. Manager, for calling me 3 times within 2 days. I really appreciate hearing your voice. And it isn't to, put your neck on the chopping block, but I believe that when I was very excited about who's the next bidder, who's the other bidder, I could assume one, but the other one I couldn't. There were guesses here, guesses there. Then when the bids were going to be open, I was waiting with bated breath to know how much are they going to give us, what's going on, what's the competition here. Everybody was asking, everybody's calling. And then people were calling my house telling me what I thought that this council should have known before anybody, before people at the Sun. I know that they did their job. Jen Myers did a job. Everybody's on the right page. But I think I'd like to have this council know a little bit before people read it in the paper, because I don't get my paper till 4 o'clock. And some people get it at 6 in the morning, and they're calling me, telling me what they already knew that I thought these people here should be knowing. I don't know how it got from the Arena Commission to the Sun and bypassed this very body. That's the gist of the motion, because I remember back to a few years ago when the very issue of communication was one of the reasons why this guy met his demise. Not that I want you to do that, not that I want to put your neck on the chopping block, but if it's fair for one, it should be fair for all.
That the councilors are starving for information. I mean, we want to know what's going on. We want to know how these contracts are progressing. We want to know. People ask us all the time, without compromising the situation and the negotiations and our strategy. So I think that just listening to tonight's meeting, a lot of things can be contributed to lack of communication, and I'm glad to hear you say that you can improve in that area. I particularly don't like finding out through the newspaper that maybe there was an oversight, or maybe there was a mistake made, or how do these things happen? I would much rather not get an email and not get a text message. I get a lot out of talking to a person, communicating with a person, because you get a feel for what they're talking about, how they feel about something, and they can be animated like Councilor Rita Mercia was tonight about certain things, and you know that they feel strong about something. And then other things may not be a big deal. But certainly I don't think an email or a text message or any of our modern technology methods of communication help to bring parties together when there's an issue that needs some attention. The other thing is, I don't think that you should be is paranoid to develop a relationship thinking that that's going to cause the demise of your position. That's all.
Councilor Kazanjian.
Thank you, Mayor. I also think it's a good motion. I think it's come to a head, and we're talking about it now, and I think it's very important. Excuse me. And people probably think I dislike the manager, but believe it or not, I don't. I mean, I ask the questions, I raise the questions, and the reason why I ask those questions is because that's why I ran for this council, and I represent the people in the city. So, I mean, like I said, I ask the questions, and I think it's very important. This city is run like a business. It should be run like a business. You're supposed to be the professional manager. You're the CEO. We're the board of directors. We represent the shareholders, which are the people in the city, the taxpayers in the city. So if we don't know what's happening in the city here on important matters such as the SMG contract, the Spinners contract, and we have to find out by reading the newspapers, I think that's poor management on your part where you're not the professional manager. And again, I don't dislike you, Mr. Manager, but I'm here to do the job, and we're supposed to do it, and I'm thriving for and starving for information, and I would love to get it, and especially on a big contract like I talked about. And if I have to read it in the newspaper, I mean, it bothers me. And I don't think there's any reason that we should have to do that.
If I could,
Go ahead, Manager Lynch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I could, Counselor, again, I think that there's always room for improvement in communication both ways. And I certainly recognize that during the course of the day, you know, I'm running a $320 million operation here. There's a lot of things that happen, on the fly, and with all due respect, to take, you know, on a daily basis or whatever, to call 9 counselors to talk to them about, you know, to chat, is. But I've also I've been around the block long enough to know that sometimes communication is sort of a catch-all to that can be the beginning of a manager's demise, and I'm certainly aware of that.